We in IHRC Institute deem it an honor to host this event. In fact, a few months ago, when Mr. Raghavendra Singh was in Hyderabad, we had mooted this idea that we should have this event in Hyderabad, and he readily agreed. In fact, it's a very happy coincidence that this event is happening. As many as 68 years ago, this event happened in Hyderabad. It's come back to Hyderabad after 68 years. Maintenance of records and archives has been one of the weak points of our Indian culture. A history which dates back to 5,000 years has suffered in the recent times because it's not documented. We in India believed in memorizing things. Shruti, the Vedas, they depended on keeping it by heart and passing on to generation. Whereas in the Western civilization, there has been a tradition of documenting everything very meticulously. We need to learn how to meticulously maintain records. That's where we have to upgrade our systems of record keeping. In fact, the British, they had started the system in India very meticulously. And in Hyderabad, Nizam, in his own way, had started the institution here. In fact, the State Archives Department was set up way back in 1896. And our archives here is perhaps one of the most unique archives compared to any other state in India. Has over 50 million records dating back to 1724 and some of the Mughal period. We also have important documents called Oriental manuscripts, which are lying in a different department with the, it was earlier in the Osmania University. I wish Archives Department takes it over soon and also digitizes them. We are requesting the Minister that we also need to take up digitization in a big way in our state. Perhaps it's a matter of time. Unless we know the value of the documents which are there, perhaps it will be lost for generations to come. In fact, the word for history and culture, history in Telugu is a very interesting term. It's called Charitra. If you don't know about history, you are called Charitrahin. So unless we know about our history, know about to keep the documents, unlike in Hindi, Charitrahin, you know what Charitrahin would mean. So we don't want to be Charitrahin by not maintaining our records, not knowing about our history. Generations to come should inculcate the habits of knowing about the past. People who don't learn from the history are doomed to repeat it. There are a lot of things we need to learn from the history, and that is where the archives play an important role. There are other mundane uses of the archives, like we do in every department. The record room, old records sent to the archives. That's very meticulously done. The Tottenham system, which is maintained in many of the government offices. There are permanent records to be maintained, RDs, DDs, NDs, different terminologies used for government records. They kept for purpose of administrative convenience, district gazettes. To some extent, the movement for Telangana depended on these historical documents to fight for a separate statehood. I remember Professor Jayashankar sitting in the libraries and the archives, Mr. Goyal helping them to dig out old papers which showed what was the revenue source in the Telangana, erstwhile Hyderabad state of the Nizam, how the state as such was a prosperous state, one of the richest states in the country and the world, perhaps, one of the richest persons in the world. That is how the movement drew its inspiration from history. So all the more the reason that the new state of Telangana, we will be able to provide assistance. In this institute, which primarily deals with training to the public servants, we have set up what is called the Center for Telangana Studies. And that center has taken upon itself to orient the new entrants to government service traditions of Telangana. That is where the CTS, which is headed by a very eminent professor, Dr. Govt, who is the Dean of Studies with us, he gets involved in documenting the historical records also, works in collaboration with state archives. And recently we have given some token assistance to the archives department to upgrade the regional center, which is in Warangal. It was in a ramshackle building earlier, the records were kept bundled up. We have volunteered to help them to set it up. It has very important records which have bearings on the Kakatiya period also. it would be interesting for many of you to know that it was Nizam's Director of Archaeology, the sister department of archives, who helped in preserving and maintaining the monuments of Kakatiya period, whether it's the Thousand Pillar Temple, all the important monuments of Kakatiya period would have disappeared perhaps. He put up revetments, put up supports to see that the monuments are maintained. The Ramappa Temple, one of the most beautiful structures in South India, still stands today thanks to Ghulam Yazdan. Similar initiatives taken in Nizam's period to upgrade the archives, the multilingual treasure that we have. It has records in Persian, it records in Urdu, very rare documents. I remember the Vice President of India coming and wanting to see some of those records during one of his visits. Former Vice President, Hamid Ansari Sahab.